Okay, I'm curious where you fall on this spectrum. Are you the person who loves to make a plan? You spend so much time doing it, actually, though, that you work on the plan and you decide you aren't going to do the plan and you don't take action or the time to tell people about it? Or are you the person who jumps at the chance to tell people that you're planning to do something and you're all about it, but you don't create a plan to actually make it happen? So I don't know where you fall, but somewhere in the middle is probably ideal. However, my gut guess is that you can probably relate to one of those two extremes. You see, I know this because I fall in one of them too. I am on the latter. I'm an open book. So for me to pause and plan can be a nuisance. It can drive me insane. I just want to do. I don't want to plan. I want to do. On the flip side, I have several dear friends who love to plan and organize, but find themselves wishing that they would just do sometimes. Just go, just do it. This is true for many authors when it comes to visibility. You want to get seen, but you either want to jump in without a plan or plan, but never take action. So, the secret to success here is to do both and to do both methodically. On today's episode of the Empowered Author Podcast, I am excited to share how to plan for strong visibility efforts and how to make them happen. Ready to dive in? Let's do this. Hey, I'm Stephanie Feger, and Empower is my middle name. Well, not really, but it should be. I believe that empowered people empower people, and I'm obsessed with empowering you, the nonfiction author, with impactful marketing strategies to help you take your important message and share it with those who desperately need it, want it, and will buy it. I'm the owner and chief strategist of the Empower PR Group and the author of 3 books myself, including my new book, Make Your Author Impact. Sell more books, increase your reach, and achieve your why. I've been called to merge my love for reading books, writing books, and marketing books to help nonfiction authors like you with laser-focused strategies and tactics to write books that sell, promote books to those who need and want them most, and build meaningful businesses from empowering messages. Think of this podcast, if you would, as your one-stop shop for marketing insights from an author who has been there, who has done that and continues to, and who understands exactly where you are because I am you. So get your pins ready because I'm ready to empower you, my friend. This is the Empowered Author Podcast. Don't write a book in silence. Don't launch a book and never talk about it. Don't create a business and let worry hold you back from telling anyone that you can support their needs. While you likely agree with all those statements, who wouldn't, right? Most authors instead find themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to taking action from it. You see, writing a book is scary. It's a vulnerable journey. And I don't know about you, but I wonder if any of these questions have been in your mind. What if someone doesn't like your work? What if you get feedback that isn't kind? Well, guess what? You will. There will be someone who doesn't like your book, and you will get feedback whether you solicit it or not. And it is not always kind, but you will become stronger and more determined from it. But if you don't tell anyone you are writing a book, no one will be able to support you when it's time to buy it. Don't be that author. The countdown is on for the release of your book. But see, I'm wondering if you've ever thought this, but you're terrified to tell people about it because you're asking yourself, will they think you're pushing them to buy a copy? Will they gossip about the fact that you wrote a book? Well, maybe strong Amazon keywords and categories will be enough. Okay. No, they won't be enough, I promise you. And people want to buy a copy from you, and they may gossip, but it will likely be the positive kind, the one that, oh my gosh, can you believe so and so is an author? How cool is that? If you want to sell books, you have to tell people, but don't be that author who doesn't. And if you've created a business that is one focused on serving other people, one that will help someone in a meaningful way, well, then it is selfish to hold that back. Don't be that author either. Instead, I want you to be this kind of author. Be the author who is proud that you are writing something that the world will soon fall in love with, something that the world needs. Be the author who lets people in on your journey and invites them to help you too. It's a win-win for everybody. Be the author who wants to help people by making their lives a bit easier with your business. That's the author who is making an impact. And author friend, that is you. So, how do you do that? Well, great question. And today I want to walk you through 3 ways to make sure that the people who need to know about you know about you, and how to create a plan to make that happen. First off, we have to start where we do with every marketing effort, and that is your target reader or target client. Now, target reader and target client, those are kind of a buzz phrase around the marketing space. So I thought it would be great if we started by digging into it a little bit deeper today, because I want to make sure you really understand what I mean when I talk about that. You see, a reader can be anyone, but a target reader is someone who needs your message and is waiting for it right now, whether they know that they need it or know about it or not. So these people have a problem. You have uncovered the problem. That's why you wrote a book, because it's a solution to a problem. They have a problem, and you are that solution for it. They are navigating a mountain, and you have a walking stick that could help. They are in a pickle, and you have a side of bread and butter seasoning to sweeten things up a bit. They need you, but they need to know about you to make it happen. Before you can ensure that they know about you, you need to do some research to know about them so that you can find them. You see, they may be walking around you every day, missing you on the streets or passing you in cars, but they're not going to trust you if you stop them on the street and act like a used car salesman to fix their woes. And I can say that as my dad is one, a used car salesman. No, they're not. You need a plan, and that plan requires you to be a bit like Sherlock Holmes. There's some investigation that needs to happen. Are you ready? Here's what I want you to think about. When it comes to your target reader, ask yourself this simple but massively important question. Where do your target reader or clients go for trusted information? Notice that I said trusted, not just any information, trusted information. I want you to uncover where they go to get information that they not only trust, but will do whatever that place tells them. Well, at least most of the time. We're not talking about cult stuff here, but it's a place where they don't have to question if it's in alignment with their value system, with their thoughts, with their beliefs, with their goals in life, right? They trust them. Now, this could be a news source, maybe not. It could be social media platforms, maybe not. It could be a person. It could be an organization or a group. It could be a church. It could be a school. It could be anything. And uncovering this is the first part of your visibility efforts and your plan, because it's likely the most important, as it uncovers how you're going to reach them. See, to go big doesn't mean you go big. To reach the most and the right people actually requires you to go small and focused and consistent and methodical. Once you know where your target reader or clients go for trusted information, we want to get you there. But how do you do it? And how do you become trusted by the people in charge of that trusted information source? Think about that for a minute. Think about that. It starts by pivoting to now understanding the needs of the trusted information source. So we start by understanding the needs of your target reader and where they go to for trusted information. That's pivotal because it uncovers the next step of where you need to be. How can you be where they trust unless you know that missing link? So now we want to talk about and consider, who are these trusted people? What do they need? Right? What do they need, and how can you be a solution for them? So I want you to think about a couple of things. Depending on who this trusted information source is, they likely have listeners, attendees, viewers, other clients, etc. And they likely want to have those people. Knowing this will help you uncover how you can be a solution to a problem that they have. See, they need trusted people to deepen the trust of their listeners or viewers or attendees, etc., and what they have with them. I know that's a little bit of a tongue twister, so I want to use an example or two. Let's say you've uncovered that your target reader or client listens to podcasts. So you need to find the right podcasts that they listen and where they go to for trusted information. So you've uncovered a handful. Great. So now, how do you become a guest on the podcasts? Well, the person you're looking to reach is a podcast host. It's important to get into the brain of a podcast host. And guess what? I am going to give you a little insight because I am one. So I want you to know a couple of things. Hosting a podcast is not easy. It is a time-intensive labor of love, and it also is a financial investment on the host's side. Whether the host is outsourcing for editing or not, it is time, and time is money. Alrighty? So many podcast hosts look to monetize their podcast. To do that requires them to either have more listeners or secure sponsors. Well, they need content to help people by providing cutting edge and offering content to listeners so that they will stay around. You can be a part of helping them have amazing content so that their listeners will keep coming, and then they can monetize their podcast. See how it works? It's a win-win-win. All right, here's another example. Maybe your target reader or client is a part of an organization or an association. I'll use a recent author that I've worked with as an example here. She is a specialist in helping women and families who are having fertility challenges navigate through them. So we have uncovered that she's got several different trusted sources, but one of them is medical professionals. Well, here's what we know about medical professionals. They are busy, busy, busy. The women on the flip side who need her are lost, lost, lost. It is overwhelming. And I know this because I have lived it. I know what it's like to have a miscarriage and to be terrified of how to navigate this journey. And the first place I'm going to go is to my doctor. Well, many doctors see have a couple minutes for patient time, right? It's a very limited space. So this author could be a solution to both, right? She can help a doctor be able to help their patients, and in return, the patients deepen their trust with their doctor. Here's the kicker, and some advice I recently gave her. She had tons of ideas to come to the table to be able to provide to medical professionals, and I loved all of them. But I told her this: it can't be your idea, it needs to be theirs. So, my recommendation there is to go to that trusted news source, could doctor in this example, or the practice, or the office manager, and say, I have something that I think would be really helpful, and I would love to explore what challenges you have and how I can help be a solution to help you. Many times, it will open doors for ideas that you hadn't even thought of, and it will uncover really beautiful partnerships in the process. Increasing visibility means that more eyes are looking at you and your message and your book. Here are some other ideas I want you to consider as you're thinking through your visibility strategy and efforts. Speaking could be a wonderful, wonderful tool to increase your visibility. In fact, I love speaking engagements for authors, especially nonfiction, because it gives a shorter trust window. If someone meets you, they are more likely to fall in love with you and your message and buy your book because they've heard from you and now they're bought in. In regards to thought leadership, I love that too because guest blogging is a wonderful opportunity to really pick and reach a niche group of people where they are. And guess what? Lots of online sources, even magazines, newspapers, etc., are looking for opportunities because there are people that have beautiful things to add and they need that help. Other wonderful opportunities are local partnerships because this could provide an opportunity and a new angle for you to reach people in your local community where they already are. Another visibility tool is social media, and it's really helpful when it's used appropriately. Season 9 of the Empowered Author podcast is really insightful here. So go back and take a listen to that whole season as we break down social media. But I do want to acknowledge that consistency is key with social media, and being where your readers or clients are is too. And the right content matters. Here is the secret to strong social media content. It's not about you, even though you're posting it, it's about them. If you always think about that when it comes to your marketability, you will win. So you know who needs you, and you know where they go for trusted information, and that's where you need to be. So it's time to create the plan. I want to offer some tips for you to consider. A plan is a treasure map. It's a path to the hidden jewels. It's methodical and it can be really fun too, right? Your visibility plan should be as well. I want you to begin by identifying how much time you have to spend on it each week. Is it an hour? Is it a day? Somewhere in between? Once you know the amount of time that you're willing to give to visibility, I want you to block it on your calendar and hold it sacred. Let's say it's a couple of hours. You could do it all in a day. You could parse it out over the week. But I will tell you, if you don't put it on the calendar and you don't honor it, it will be the first thing that authors toss up, and you too, when life gets hectic. But it's important because I call it seed tossing. Visibility efforts and increasing your visibility doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time, and you have to plant a lot of seeds to reap the harvest. The second step is about identifying what core elements you want to do and are within your span of influence. You need to consider what success looks like. And then you need to realize, what can you do to help that success happen? So you may want to get a speaking engagement, but you can't control that. Like, you can't strong arm someone into it. You can control how many speaking engagement pitches you do. You may want to be a podcast guest. Again, you can't control that, but you can control how many podcast hosts, you reach out to via email. So what core visibility efforts are you wanting to do, and what is your weekly goal? Here are some ideas. Identify one Uber connector a week to reach out to. Schedule one in-person or virtual coffee chat every other week with someone new. Pitch a handful of podcast hosts each month to see about being a podcast guest. Research each week a new speaking opportunity and send an email to the person in charge. You get the drift. Finally, I want you to make sure you have the tools you need to do all of this effortlessly, because if not, you will talk yourself out of it. I find many people get hung up on the content when it comes time to blog or post on social media. So here's a tip. Go through your book and pull out sections, one-liners, etc. that could stand alone and you could repurpose. That's your intellectual property. Take advantage of it. Many people get stressed about social posting. So don't get stressed about it. Schedule time once a week, once a month, etc. to schedule your content, and get a scheduler and use it instead. If you're interested in the one that I love, reach out. I'd be happy to share that with you. How are you supposed to pitch a podcast or a speaking engagement? That's a question I get a lot. Well, you need some tools to help you. You need a podcast pitch sheet and a speaker sheet, so get them designed. Whatever you can do now to support your plan will help you cut through the internal chats you will have with yourself that will talk you out of doing any of this, because they will happen, my friend, they will. Do it now before you see 6 months go by without taking any action. To sell books requires people to know about them. To ensure the right people know about them, you need to know who your target audience is and where they go for trusted information. Then you need a plan to be seen as a trusted source so you can be visible there. It sounds simple, and it can be, as long as you don't give up on doing it. It needs a plan, and it needs commitment to the plan. That's where the fireworks happen. For many authors, this is either the exciting part of book marketing or the terrifying part. If it excites you, fantastic. If it terrifies you, you are not alone. Remember that it's selfish if you don't share. But when you do share, make sure that what you're sharing is not about you, it is about them. The best visibility is a type that is meant to help someone else in the process. If you need any help, I would love to brainstorm with you on what your next visibility step could be like. Visit empowerprgroup.com/connect and let's chat. Author friend, thanks for listening today and for saying yes to becoming empowered. You are destined to make your author impact, and to do so likely requires a plan to get there. A plan can help you, and I'd love to be a part of that. As you know, I'm a believer that empowered people empower people. I've empowered you. Now it's your turn. Go empower others.